Where's your phone? Oh, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Is it Friday night?
Hello.
All day I thought it's Saturday because I don't normally do the office, but I had to do the office today because my work colleague, it's her birthday, but actually on Tuesday, but she's doing something.
No, there's another reason.
Happy birthday for
there's
Tuesday,
another reason,
Kaisa.
isn't there, Kaisa? It's Workers' Day today.
No, it's not. Oh.
It's National Holiday in Gibraltar.
No, that's not why.
Workers' Day. No, it is. All the workers go have the day off for Workers' Day. And it's on Monday as well.
That is not
It's
true.
May, 1st of May sort of holiday thing.
Her birthday is on Tuesday, so she's planned something for Friday. I'll explain why off camera. She's done it specially for us,
Okay,
actually.
you say so.
Yes, because you're not in the loop. Thank you, Kaisa, and have a lovely birthday. Right.
Cheers, everybody.
Let's get on with get to the meat in a sandwich, because I can't believe that not that many people have picked up on this, and it just blew my mind this morning. Now, for those of you that haven't read the article or seen it, because I know a lot of you are busy, I've got it up on Graham's phone, and I'll just read that quick paragraph.
It's on your community post on your
It
channel.
is. There's a community post. This is Harry, right? Cast your mind back to February 2018. This is Harry emailing the Queen's, I don't know, secretary or something. It's some woman called Sally. So he's emailing her complaining, saying, why aren't the lawsuits for the hacking? Why can't we get going? Why isn't it progressing? And this woman's sort of saying, let's see if we can find another way of doing it without involving lawyers and lawsuits. And then she replies to him and says, no, we haven't had any progress. She says, I'm afraid, but we can't tell you any progress. And he says, don't be afraid to talk to me. And then he goes on to say, and this is February 2018, so he's not married yet. He's going to get married in May.
In the Daily Mail.
Yeah, and the Telegraph, I think. He says, I can't begin to tell you what it will say about the institution if this isn't resolved before the baby's arrival and wedding. Well, what baby? That's what I was saying this morning, and I was in a hurry, so I couldn't do a long video. What baby? Now, a lot of you have said maybe Louis, because Catherine was pregnant at the time, and I think Louis was born in April. But I don't think it's Louis that he's talking about. Why? What's Louis got to do with anything? Why would Harry be so concerned about his nephew's impending birth?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Was he saying he didn't want the press at the wedding?
Yes, that was the
That's
next.
what he was saying.
That was the next bit. He said, "I can't."
She'd be out there.
I hope that in light of the fact that this. No, what he's saying is, I hope in light of the fact that they have behaved so badly that the Queen isn't going to allow them into Windsor Castle on the day, May 19th, which was his wedding day. So that was the second part of it. But what baby? Now, a lot of people think it's Louis because it was William and Harry that had this hacking problem. But then Harry has presented evidence to the court, hasn't he, saying that he's angry that William settled years before, back in 2012. Isn't that right? So it's not like they were shoulder to shoulder and he's speaking on behalf of William. And why does he need to speak on behalf of William? Aren't William and Catherine capable of speaking on themselves? It's like saying, well, we need to get this sorted because my cat's cousin's dog's daughter's going to have puppies in a few days. What the hell? It's got nothing to do with anything. And also, I have read Spare, and I think this is, there was Dog Bowl Gate, and they weren't getting on, him and William. So why would he be referring to babies in an email? Now, I've drawn the same conclusion that a lot of you have, and I have to say, when they said that they were going to get married, I remember the press saying at the time, why the hurry? Why the hurry? These royal weddings, normally, they had the engagement interview in the November 2017, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then they got married in the May 2018.
Yeah.
And what did I say to you at the time?
She's pregnant.
You'll have to speak up a little bit because there's no microphone.
Well, the Queen was a bit of an old-fashioned person and she liked to do things right. And so if that were the case, then she would want them to be married before the baby was born for old-fashioned reasons.
Yeah. Now, the Queen, this is all my hypothesis. I'm not saying any of this is fact. But what I am doing is analysing Prince Harry's own words in an email. Now, it might come out that there'll be more of that email revealed Although I expect the Daily Mail's a bit wary about revealing too much these days. They're probably trying to work out what's 10%. Are we going to get sued if we do a word extra, a word less? Or they could be being mischievous. Or Harry himself might be being mischievous. So maybe it is Prince Louis that he's talking about. And I can imagine, I mean, he says one thing and denies it and says something completely different later. So maybe it is. But, so this is just my hypothesis. I always felt it was a shotgun wedding. That was just my instinct. Now, there can be pregnancies and myth carriages. You can have as many of them as you like.
What, a myth carriage?
A myth carriage, yes. And I'm not lisping because my son burst out laughing today and said, no, you mean miscarriage, mother? And I said, no, I don't. I mean myth carriage. But you guys all know what I mean. So, I mean, it's a theory. It's a theory. It would explain why she didn't want the rest of her family there, not the Raglands and not the Markles, only her mother, you know, keeping it tight. A lot of you have mentioned Skippy's wedding, and that there was a bit of a doodah there and there were photographs there. So, and some of you have said, perhaps that explains like a 12-month pregnancy. That's not what I was thinking this morning. There's just so much to analyse about that. What an extraordinary thing for him to release. It would explain why the Queen apparently said, why does Meghan need to get married in virginal white with a veil? All of that, because that sounds like a very old-fashioned thing to say, because lots of women get married in virginal white, but obviously they're not. But it makes more sense to me now that if they had said to the Queen, well, we've got to get married, she's pregnant, then the Queen goes, oh, yes, as you said, do old-fashioned. Yeah. But then with Meghan insisting on a white veil and everything, the Queen might have said, is that really appropriate, seeing as she'll be coming up the aisle? Well, there'll be two of them coming up the aisle, so to speak. It also explains why Princess Eugenie's wedding had to be postponed. Because they said...
They pushed in.
They said at the time it was royal protocol, didn't they? That because Harry was more senior, but... Now, no, this theory makes a lot more sense to me. What else have I got on my list? Why has he released this? Has he done this on purpose or is he just stupid? And because the purpose of him releasing this email is to prove that William apparently had this secret deal and that he'd only just found out about stuff. So I don't know what's in the rest of the email. So maybe he was willing to allow that part in, or maybe the lawyers are largely men and it wouldn't occur to them that anybody would be thinking like this or watching it this closely.
One word, baby.
It's BABY apostrophe S.
Baby.
So I don't think there should have been an apostrophe, but then, I mean, I don't know if Harry's... My grammar's not that great. Baby's plural would be IES, so it's not plural, it's singular. I don't know, it's intriguing.
Read the article, what do you think of it?
Yeah, read the article. But no, I'm not, and I'm just not buying it. Why would he mention Catherine's upcoming birth? What's that got to do with anything? Because this was his issue with the
laughing stock, that's what he said. Will be, you mean?
Will be a laughing stock. And you know, when we were looking at his court case last week, all of us, and he's going on about leaks and stuff like that, I was thinking to myself, if he pushes too hard, I think that there might be evidence that comes out that it's his wife that leaks, and he may well end up deeply regretting starting these lawsuits in the first place. It's crazy, and you know, I've never been of the theory of moon bumps or anything like that. Myth carriages, yeah, I can imagine. Phantom pregnancies, yeah, I can imagine, because I have known people who've done that. I think you've known people who've done that, haven't you? Or you've had mates who've been caught like that by the old, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, sorry, no, I wasn't after all. Oh, well, we're married now.
I'm sorry, there's no baby.
And then a lot of you have said,
gone.
Apparently, and I didn't know about this one slipped under my radar, a lot of them have said there were rumours when they were in Australia or something that Harry had said to her, are you sure you're really pregnant this time? I don't remember that, and I don't remember rumours. I also see, and this is going to rev up closer and closer to the coronation, Angela Kelly. There's some article in some puff piece place that I never heard of before, really shit stirring and saying Angela Kelly's been saying stuff on Instagram. And I read the article, and Angela hasn't said anything at all. Angela looks very happy to me in the pictures. She's retired. She's going to move to somewhere near Sheffield. She's bought a new house. She's got a new house. She hasn't slagged off the king at all. But the article's written very bitchy to put the cat amongst the pigeons between Angela and Charles and Camilla. And I thought, oh, really? And we know that Meghan and Harry don't like Angela, you know, Tiara Gate and all that. We know that. And also that the thing with the letters the other week in the Telegraph, yes, newspapers have an agenda, but if they get a big scoop, all that goes out the window. They'll print the story, whether it backs up their left-wing, right-wing policies, whatever. If they get that scoop first, they will go with it. So there aren't necessarily allegiances. They would maybe use a journalist who's sympathetic to Meghan and Harry. But that doesn't necessarily make the newspaper wokey-cokey, you know. So I'm really tired, actually. It's been blowing my mind all day, that. Because I've always said, if it ever comes out that she wasn't really pregnant and that there were moon bumps and stuff, I mean, you'll have to pick me up off the floor. I'll be in stunned shock. Like, you know, like when you go up to a goat and you go, boo, and it just sort of falls over. That would be me. That would be me. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I mean, if he's done this deliberately, is she going to come out and say, yeah, I wore moon bumps and I used a surrogate because the evil, racist royal family didn't want a drop of black blood? You know, is she going to go down that road?
Instead of that Bagda Prince multimillionaire, get in! It's jets all the way now. Private jets and champagne parties. You can look at me. I'm going to be on the front cover of every magazine in the entire world because hubby's going to pay for it. And
I really hope that the Royal Grift and other YouTubers really dig into this one. Maybe Lady C can shed some light on it. Perhaps there were some legal reasons that no one could talk about it. Or perhaps it was Louis. I mean, I feel completely gaslit here. Like, am I losing my mind? What's going on?
Nobody else has jumped on it, have they?
No. And I think it's huge.
It's like one word in the article. Just one word, you think, what?
I can't help feeling the Daily Mail have noticed, and that's why they put the article there. But it wasn't a headline article. It was like halfway down their page. I wasn't even looking for Harry. I was just, you know, browsing through the stories. And then that popped up, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a read. And I couldn't believe what I was reading. I had to read it 3 times. But yeah, I can't believe that it's not like everywhere, because a lot of the press, they'll make a big do about absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but
you know,
Harry won't think twice about it because it was in an email, so it's provable. And he'll have thought, well, yeah, she did say she was pregnant.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because he still believes it to this day.
Well, why,
allegedly.
Meghan wouldn't lie.
Yeah, and one of the other viewers said, if it does turn out, and Harry says, yeah, that's true, she was pregnant and then miscarried, it will beg the question when she wrote her miscarriage article, and she said, as I was holding my first child, I knew I was losing my second. And it also in Oprah, it all makes sense with this was before we got married, the conversation about what the baby would look like, it all fits. And then Meghan's saying to Oprah, yeah, there were conversations, but then she talks about Archie because she doesn't want to talk about anything else. It does, it all fits.
Because after they were married, it didn't last 5 minutes, did it, in the royal family?
No.
But the lead up to it, from the announcement of the engagements until the wedding, she must have been in the UK with Harry.
And also, in order to have a pregnancy or a miscarriage, that could happen at absolutely any point up to the engagement interview, not the actual wedding, because with the royal family, royal weddings are pretty much never cancelled. Once they've done the engagement interview, your face is on the tea towel, there is no backing out. That's it, deal sealed. So the pregnancy miscarriage could have happened. This is all, again, in my imagination. I have to overemphasise that for obvious people.
That's horrible, that.
Is it? I thought it kind of would
Have
be.
a little swig.
Oh no, I just can't, Graham. I'm too tired. I was going to do story time
Couldn't do
tonight, but
anymore.
firstly, I can't think of any stories because my mind is full of moon bumps.
Imagine going down in history as Megan Moonbum. Moon Maiden.
I was saying to Graham I'd never heard of these things before, except on Desperate Housewives when Brie pretended to be pregnant to cover for the fact that her daughter was having an underage pregnancy or something. There was a storyline, and obviously that show, they really like to have a laugh with stuff. That's the only other time I saw it, and I just thought they'd made that kind of stuff up for the programme. But I mean, what do you think? I'm thinking,
Bizarre.
is he talking about Shotgun Wedding, or can maybe the newspaper can clear this up and they can print a little bit more of the email. Maybe it was Louis he was talking about, or maybe it was some other random person's baby. This needs to be sorted out before the baby's arrival and the wedding.
Otherwise we'll be the laughing stock. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I don't. But I mean, she does bring this all on herself because of her privacy. She marries into the most public, famous family in the world, and then wants entire privacy. Okay, every royal family member deserves.
She doesn't want any privacy.
They deserve privacy, obviously.
doesn't.
They don't want their medical issues out there. They don't want their private life out there. They want their public persona out there.
I think
But
she was. Sorry.
if I can finish, because it's important, and this is why Wally got taken down. It's line of succession. With the Windsors, that's a really big thing. Births, deaths, and marriages. You can't fake a birth, or you can't have births and christenings and stuff like that private if you want that baby in the line of succession with titles. If you don't want to have the titles and you don't want to have them in the line of succession, fair enough, then no one's entitled to know anything. But if they are going to be in the line of succession with titles, then yes, you cannot be having my privacy, I'm not telling you. Sorry, go on.
Oh,
You've
finished.
forgotten now. No, you were saying something and I interrupted.
Are you? That's why I interrupt, because I'm impatient and I wait for my moments. I've just forgotten what it was that I was going to say.
Your little thoughts just flown away.
She thinks I'm being rude when I interrupt. I'm not. I just know I'm going to forget what it was I was going to say. Because I'm a silly old fool.
But I mean, it's just, I can't get my head around it at all. I really can't. And maybe there will be something on the day of the coronation, yes, I wore moon bumps, kind of thing. And
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I think she worked so hard at getting into the royal family. And when she was moaning at Harry said, "That's it, we're off." And she's like, "No,
Yeah.
no, Harry, no, I mean it. I'm putting my foot down.
yeah,
I want to live somewhere else." And she's like, "No."
yeah, I reckon. I know she'd registered a lot of the websites before they'd even got married, but I think she was planning on using them from within the royal family and doing what she wanted. And I think she wound him up, and he's such a hothead. He went, "Right, that's it. We don't need their money. We don't need their titles." Her face must have been like, it took me all my life to climb that greasy pole. Anyway, lots of food for thought. As always, theories, thoughts, opinions on Harry's own words in Harry's email. Bizarre. Getting more and more bizarre by the day. Thank you very much for listening.